Hi everyone, this video is going to be about Saturn in Sagittarius. So specifically I'm going to touch on global influences of Saturn in Sagittarius. I'll be talking about personal influence, especially for people that have strong Sagittarius in their chart. So Sag Rising, Sag Moon, Sag Sun. Also people, whether if you're a Virgo, Pisces or Gemini, you'll also get affected by the transit at the moment of Saturn in Sagittarius, which will last for the next 2 to 3 years. So the Sagittarians will be affected most powerfully. The Virgos, Pisces and Geminis will also be affected. It's going to be, there's going to be tension and difficulty. That's more of an adjustment energy because it's a square. So firstly, with Saturn in Sagittarius on a global level, some of the things, how it can affect the world with this influence. Firstly, I'll just go back to the past. If you look at 1939, the stock market crashed in New York and affected, the world, especially the Western world. And at that time, Saturn was in Sagittarius. We also had the Uranus-Pluto square. I believe that was also active at the time. So we're in a time now that's kind of, it's not just go with the flow, live your life kind of in this easygoing kind of way. There's this intensity happening with the Uranus-Pluto square, which continues on till it peaks this year. In March this year, and also with Saturn in Sagittarius. So what to expect on a global level? Some things have been coming to my mind are censorship, for one. So Sagittarius is about communication, so that's an aspect, and freedom in that communication, obviously. So Sagittarius is about freedom and communication, and with Saturn in there, in that sign, you could be seeing restrictions around free communication. So this is not a good thing, obviously. Freedom of speech being very, very important in our society, in Western society, obviously. I mean, globally it's very important, but we value this as something that has been a freedom of ours. So we want to make sure that we still have that freedom. I do apologize, there is some noise going on at the moment, some renovations or something. Apparently there's always something like that going on here. So I hope it doesn't affect the video, but anyway, so censorship can be an issue that we might see. Extremes in political correctness as well could come up, and that sort of extremes in political correctness could then lead to censorship. Also, what else? Obviously religion comes through, because the Sagittarius is about the higher mind and beliefs, philosophies, spiritual beliefs, spiritual, connection to the higher, realms and the higher mind. So there can be some kind of issues to do with religion at this time, and it can be extreme in some way. So we're already seeing these things happening. There can be restrictions to do with education, so higher education. So people wanting to go to university may not be able to afford to go to university because there may be more restrictions on things like, for example, what the governments might be willing to help young people, supplement their income in some way, or not their income, supplement their educational fees. There might be restrictions to do with scholarships, or anything to do with academics and higher education. So it might be harder for people to go to university because Saturn represents restrictions. So there's that. There could be issues around travel. So we've already seen things like in America, the TSA, where you have a lot more restrictions due to political issues, and as well as extremism and crunching down on security. So we could be seeing a lot more of that sort of thing. So people traveling overseas might find it stressful, more difficult, and there might be more fear around overseas travel. So people might start to travel more domestically, or not travel. They might do other things. They might focus their energies in terms of their spiritual life, their spiritual pursuits. So it could be that. Another way this could affect people is through the law. So there could be changes in laws as well. There could be laws getting tightened around certain things that could, you know, be there again for security reasons, but they could feel like they're restricting our freedom. Sagittarius is freedom, as I said. So this is what I sort of am feeling, and what I've some of the research that I've done, and also, you know, you just look at those two planets. Saturn represents restriction, limitation, difficulty, caution, and tradition, as well as conservative sort of energy, so being conservative about things. Sagittarius is the opposite of that. Sagittarius is about being free, being expressive, expressing yourself regardless of, you know, consequences. But with Saturn in Sagittarius, we're going to be very aware of consequences, and so this is going to that point takes me now to the personal level for Sagittarians. So again, I'll say if you're a Sagittarius sun, rising or moon, this will affect you. So what I'll say is anyone with strong Sagittarius is going to feel restricted. When Saturn first went into Sag, it probably didn't feel that way because you had Jupiter in Leo. So it was, you know, Jupiter in Leo is still, and it's still in Leo at the moment, but when it first went into Sag, there were some harmonious aspects. So you may not have felt it that strongly when Saturn first went into Sag. But, and I'll just say, you know, you will also have opportunities as well. Sagittarians will, because Jupiter being in Leo is a trine aspect to Sagittarius. So if you're an early degree Sagittarius, you would have already had some positive effects from Jupiter in Leo. But anyway, so what was I saying? You'll feel restricted with Saturn in Sagittarius. You'll feel like you have to take more responsibility in your life. You'll feel as though you need to work harder, and especially when it comes to issues of integrity, your personal integrity, and your truth, your personal truth. So being honest is going to be really important for you Sagittarians while it's in your sign, and doing things the right way, not taking shortcuts. If you know, at work, if you have pressure at work, making sure you do your job properly, and doing the right thing, working with integrity, not sort of trying to avoid your responsibilities, not trying to completely hide away from your reality. Another thing that Sagittarius may notice is a desire now to follow a path that is more in line with your truth. So you may have an ability or a skill that you kind of has been dormant for a while, and you may want to follow your dreams now and come into your own with this, and it's gonna be hard work. So be prepared for that. If you're following your dreams and you're doing this step by step, that's the best way to do it, is step by step. Even though Sagittarius, you know, you guys get impatient and you want to do everything, you know, you want quick results, you want everything now. It's going to be about the step by step, the process of having faith, and yet also being realistic. So not being so carefree that you don't think about consequences of what you're doing. So, you know, if a project that you're doing costs money and you have to pay for it on your credit card, for example, not being so carefree that you think, oh, it's going to be fine, you know, it's all going to work out, I don't need to worry, I can't afford it, but I'll pay for it later. That sort of thing could catch up with you if you're a Sagittarian and you're doing something like that. You may find that you are challenged by people in authority at the moment during this period while Saturn's in Sagittarius. So what I say when Saturn's in your sign is that you have to be your own authority. It's almost like you have this voice in up here telling you what's the right thing to do, and if you don't listen to that voice, that's when Saturn reprimands you. I know a few Sagittarians, and I can already see, in their lives how this is affecting them. I know one Sagittarian that has had trouble with addictions in their life, and already things are crashing and burning in their life because they just haven't taken responsibility for their side of things in life, and they haven't stepped up to the plate, so to speak. So they haven't taken responsibility in a true way, like they have in little bits, but then they haven't really on a deep level of themselves, which is really where it matters. If you do the hard work with Saturn, you will be rewarded, and that's the positive side of Saturn. So Saturn is a teacher. It teaches us about you know, right and wrong in this earthly realm. You know, I mean, people can say that on the spiritual levels there's no right and wrong, because we're all learning, we're all souls learning, and there is some truth to that, of course, but because ultimately our souls are learning. But in this earthly realm, there is right and wrong, and we live in a society, and we can't just do whatever we want, because there are grave consequences if we push that too far. So this is all what Saturn is about, realizing where the boundaries are, and also your own personal integrity, working on your self-esteem. If you are someone that is a Sagittarius, say with a Pisces moon, and you've let people step all over you in the past, well, this is going to be a time when you're going to be learning about standing your ground as well, and finding where your personal boundaries are, and standing up for yourself and having integrity. So it's a big learning time for Sagittarians, but at the same time there's some great opportunities for Sagittarians to really come into their true power in a good way, in a solid, real way. And it's going to take time, it's a process, and there is freedom at the end of that, you know. So if you do the right thing by Saturn, if you take responsibility and you work hard and you do what you're supposed to do, you don't just renege your responsibilities and, you know, go off wanting to be free and detaching from reality. As long as you do the work, you're responsible, you're in reality in this earthly realm, and you also, you know, use your spirituality as well as part of that. So you will be rewarded. There'll be some good rewards at the very end of this, you know, transit you'll see. So that's the exciting thing with when Saturn's in your sign. It does bring rewards. So yeah, it can be very, very hard while you're going through it. Sometimes you can feel like with Saturn in your sign, and I know because I've just had Saturn in Scorpio, my ascendant sign, it's opposed all my Taurus placements, and I got a lot of Taurus in my chart. It also squared my Aquarius moon. I had last year and the year before, I had so many Saturn transits. It was just unbelievable. And the pressure that you feel when you're experiencing it is very intense. If you're a Sag Rising, you'll have Saturn going through your 12th house, which is quite difficult, I have to say. What I'll say about Saturn through the 12th house, just quickly, for those that are Sag Risings, Saturn represents thresholds, which relates to doors opening and doors closing. So what will happen, or what I've noticed that happens for people when they have Saturn through the 12th, is they, at the beginning of the Saturn through the 12th transit, it's like a door closes in your life, or you feel that door closing, and it's like something, you're letting go of a way of being. You could be releasing addictions, you could be releasing bad habits that have held you back, you could be releasing issues to do with your self-esteem that have held you back. It could be anything really. So you're closing one door and you're opening another door, or another door is opening, a destined door is opening for you. So that doorway that's opening is a new path for those that are Sagittarius risings. And Saturn, as I said, this is about Saturn going through your 12th house. So this new door is opening for you, and it's leading to, you know, the next 30, 28 or so years of your life, where you'll be setting yourself up for something really positive, a rewarding cycle where you might be starting something brand new that you've never done before. For a lot of people, it will be that. You may have to say goodbye to old friends, or, you know, you may have confrontations with people as well. This happens a lot when you have Saturn through your 12th houses. People that are no longer meant to be part of your path will leave your life. This is what happens. And so you can grow, so you can move forward. And there's also, what else? Yeah, so there's a lot of hard work. And what I'd like to say is as well, this is really important, is when Saturn goes through your 12th house like a dredging process, it dredges all these toxic emotions, or anything in you that is from childhood conditioning, negative self-belief, negative self-talk, you know, stuck energies that are just hindering your development. All these things, you will have to do a lot of self-reflection when Saturn goes through your 12th house, and really purge out and sort of clear out. It's a clearing out of those emotions. It's the 12th house, it's the subconscious mind. So it's to do with deep emotions, to do with past life issues, it's to do with this life issues. It's a lot of hard work, and if you do the work, you're going to be so rewarded. So don't try to avoid yourself or escape reality when you've got Saturn through the 12th house. It is demanding. It demands your attention of yourself, of your emotions and your mind and your subconscious and your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. You can find issues with sleep when Saturn goes through the 12th, so you might have trouble sleeping, or you could have really intense dreams trying to get your attention about things. So there's that. And then when Saturn comes to the end of your 12th house and goes into your first house, this is where you will experience the rewards. So again, that was specifically for Sag Rising, with Sag going through the with Saturn in Sagittarius going through the 12th house. Okay, so it was just really, you know, a fairly short video. I didn't want to make it too long. I might, you know, if I feel the need, I might make a second video about this, but it depends, you know, what comments I get and in relation to the video, and if people want to know more, then I'll see. But by the time Saturn comes out of your 12th house, you're in a new freedom sort of cycle, and there is still hard work to do, but you've finished off one part of your life and you're starting a brand new part of your life, and it is exciting. It's a new door opening, a new pathway, and the rewards will start then. So what also, I've looked at a lot of people's charts when they've had Saturn going through the 12th house, and I noticed that when Saturn was through the 12th house, they were quite dormant in what they were doing with their lives, and then when Saturn came into the first house, they started really getting out there with their work. They started getting rewarded. Like you actually see that if you look at people's charts and you study astrology, you know, and look at celebrity charts, people that have been through that. An example that I can think of is this is going back to when Saturn was in Scorpio. You know, many people know Prince, the singer Prince. Well, when I'm going back I think it was around 1985, 1984, he had Saturn through Scorpio through his 12th house, because there's a Scorpio rising, and then once Saturn in Scorpio was out of his 12th house, he won all these awards, like these music awards and stuff. So that's really interesting. That's just a celebrity example of, you know, how Saturn coming to the first house rewards. But I've also seen in other people's charts, people that I know. So anyway, so that was the video. I hope you got something out of that. And also, oh, I forgot to mention, yes, there are going to be tests also for those people, as I said at the beginning, with Pisces, Sun, Moon and Rising, Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising, Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising. So Saturn will be making square aspects to those mutable signs, and you'll be tested by Saturn as well. So there will be hard work for those signs as well, and, you know, a real sort of need to get in connected with your integrity, your personal integrity. If you've been doing that, you'll be fine. If you're someone that needs to do that, start doing it now before, you know, it goes further into it. But being honest and following your truth is really going to be important, and also doing the right thing by yourself and by those closest to you. So if you have a family and that sort of thing. And also you can look to where you have Sagittarius. If you know your astrology chart, look to where you have Sagittarius in your chart as to how, you know, the Saturn transit will affect you there. Okay guys, well that was the video. As I said, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye.